Okay, and we're live. So welcome to all of you and to anyone who's watching our weekly series on the communications of Giveth, for which you can also tune in on GitHub, where you find all the points that we talk about under github.com/giveth/communication. So which I'm opening myself right now, and we start as always with just like a quick check-in. My intention is to have just an efficient meeting to check in with you guys to see if there are some top of mind things that we need to discuss. If there is time left, last night we did a good job closing some of the issues that have been like lingering / rotting there a little bit too long. So like we're cleaning up that board. We are continue doing that. And my only distraction is sleep deprivation that I started working away on like yesterday. So we're going up again with like feeling better. So that's my distraction, and I give it to Bowen because he's awake 1 hour too early.
I'm gonna figure this out one of these days, I swear. Good morning, everybody. My intention is to have a nice meeting and to see where everybody's at. And I'm still in bed, so everything's fine. So I'm not even really that distracted, except by comfort. And I'll pass it over to Josh.
There's worse comforts to be had than them beds. My intent is to catch up. Is there more to share? I can tell you about the ethical deep dive, but other than that, I don't have too much to share and catch up on. My distractions are generally sorting out my life and finances and all kinds of things. So I'm just kind of trawling through a list. Intent, distraction, and there's one more thing that I always get confused about, but I've forgotten, so I'm going to pass it over to Lorelei.
Hey, thank you. I am. My intentions for this meeting are to like kind of hear how all of the new initiatives are flowing into our comms strategy. It seems like there's so much going on right now with Odyssey and with the TEC and with whatchamacallit, Onward Labs, and I'd just love to hear like how that breaks down into little comms points. And I am not too distracted. Yeah. Here I am. Okay, Griff, have you checked in yet?
I have not. So my intentions for me are to show all my videos and probably just check in on some things that you guys think I need help with. And then distractions. I'm distracted a little bit by my lack of computer time today. So other than knowing that there's like so many messages for me to check right now and emails and such, I shouldn't be too distracted. I'm just enjoying the bed as well. Also, Bowen, don't feel bad. Time zones suck, and they're the root of all evil, I'm pretty sure. So like, things change. Like, I don't know why they did this daylight savings time shit. I'll pass it to Kai.
Hey, no special intentions. Let's have a good meeting. No distractions, except I'll probably head out before it's over. So 20 minutes before 7. And I came late. Is somebody left? Josh, Bowen, Danny?
Yep, Danny's here. My intentions are to get caught up happening with all the comms, make sure that any of my tasks that could be holding anything up are on the top of my priority list. My only distraction is that I've moved into a new home and office, and I want to paint floors and hang curtains.
Me too.
So I think if there's no one else up there, pass it back to you, Chris.
Oh, yeah, Chris, you're muted.
Yeah, thanks, Griff. Yeah, I was just saying I think we have 3 double themes of moving places this week because it's also linked in my life. Yeah, one thing that I want to say before, like if I would forget next week to when I announce the comms meeting, please, and also for all of us because it's comms related, if you announce a meeting, like use timeanddate.com, for example, to schedule it because we're off for the next 2.5 weeks with the US from like daylight saving time zones because they already shifted and we have not yet. So that's one little point. I just pushed what's happening in the contributors room again because no one picked that one up. I asked Adam, but he was busy, so I told him like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna push it again. But if no one picks it up, I'll just write it myself. But it's a quick one, and it's actually already half written by the summary I put in it. Another thing on my mind is so I wrote a bit of what I said last week, like a sort of linking the dApp story to the evolution to Give It 2.0. So that one is in Griff's inbox, but no pressure, Griff, if you're not getting to it just yet, like because as I said, the chances are high that I will want to change the example I've written about Kermit the Frog to your Trash Heroes once I've seen your video. But then, yeah, I hope actually to really still push that post out ASAP. And I also still want to promote your video a little bit more, but I'm better at doing that after I watch it. But I've already retweeted it in any case with the Give It account. Then what else is stuff on my mind? Yeah, so we went to the ethical deep dive. So I gave a little bit of a summary in the group of what we did there. But Josh, as you mentioned it, if you have some other things you want to share on that one, I had a great time just being there with Josh. That's for sure.
Cool. Yeah, it was good fun. Main thing was trying to get getting noticed by Outlier Ventures, who are or their CTO, because well they've got Moolah. And they're also quite an interesting company. If you check out the Token Engineering Handbook, they're the people that wrote it. So they'll probably tie in nicely. And I think we managed to successfully get their attention. There's some video evidence of kind of philosophical questions about ethics posed to him that he smiled about and stuff. So I think that's all quite handy and good. I can give you all the notes from it. I can read them out from the other day. But the main thing or the main takeaway is they want enlightened innovators and visionary protectors is kind of how the Senate are seeing things. So it is about the diversity in the narrative and taking care of the larger human population kind of thing, because this is the commons. We're on it. It's the planet.
Yes.
That's my thoughts on Odyssey.
Yeah, they really were. They feel very open and aligned, and we were, like as I said in the group, like we're the biggest team, so I'm pretty sure we'll be on stage, and well, the fact that there's the other big team has 2 teams and we have now 5, so we'll get noticed for sure. And indeed, I think at the deep dive, Josh was like 3 times in the mic, I was once, and like most of the people just like, hey, and like I went longer. I said, hey, I'm Chris, and I'm from Give It, and we are building this and that and that and that and that. So like everyone really heard what Give It was about. So yeah, so that's a good thing. And for the rest, I'm not up to date about the hackathon because I'm way behind on the messages. But I think, Griff, you sent out a meeting invite for something. I saw that one popping up. Or
yeah, actually.
Specifically?
No, yeah. I am setting up the calendar invite right now, actually. Thanks for reminding me. I didn't finish doing it. Yeah, we're just gonna do kind of a quick team meeting about like overall vision and narrative, and like kind of put people on the spot to get their shit together and start building a spec, you know, so that we can have all the decisions made before going there, or at least most of the decisions made. I know at least, and just to kind of give everyone the space to announce what they know, because like I know we have a wildlife meeting with the guy who runs that group. I don't know if everyone else has a chance to talk with the group that is like running their whatever you call it, their
track.
Their track, yeah. So like,
and they should. Yeah.
The guy is Will, and he's in Borneo. So like,
he's incredible, by the way.
Yeah, he seems awesome.
Yeah, so cool, man.
Yeah, and it would be good if like it's one of the things that they indeed told us. Like normally you should be contacted by each track owner normally contacts the teams in their track to have a one-on-one call. So if there's a scaling wildlife, there should be one in each. For each team, there should be one. They should be contacted, and if they haven't been, they should contact them, because everyone has a right on such a call. So that's maybe one to mention in the call you're organizing as well, Griff.
Well, Lorelai's telling me that actually I have a conflict.
Oops.
So that's really too bad.
Is this the one that all the teams voted on the doodle, or all the people, and this was the chosen day and time?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we should cancel the lunch then.
No. You can do the lunch without me.
No, I want to be at this meeting.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after this meeting.
Okay. When is? Oh yeah. Well, I'll see it. I'll definitely join as well if it's not in the middle of the night. Or well, then probably there's more chance I have to join. Then okay, cool. Anything else for the Odyssey Hackathon communication wise? Yeah, my intent, but I already mentioned it. It's like the next thing I want to focus on after like I'm able to push out that Medium post and the What's Happening Medium post and the Alibre post that is the Castro Limon post for Pi Day that's ready to go. Those 3 posts are the ones that are lined up. The post that I would like to see go out next after that one is, in any case, before, and we still have time, but I want to have a post on like, these are the tracks that we're participating in, and this is like the overall thing that we're going to build. And I don't think I want to give it a shot, but if someone else is quicker than me, then of course that person should write it. But I hope I'll get that far to understand like what the overall story is, and to explain it in a simple way, and link the different teams that we have, but also like have a sort of backlink to the different tracks that they are in, so that we have some sort of backbone. And I know Abby is working on an overall spec thing for all the teams anyway. So a combination of that. I would really love to get a post out on that before we arrive there, that we just can tell people like, hey, well, just go there, and that they know about us before we arrive. What else? Oh yeah, there was.
Can you really quickly repeat the 3 posts that you have lined up? The Pi Day one.
The Pi Day one, the What's Happening, which is just like on the latest release, and the one on shifting from Give It 1.0 to 2.0.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, okay. And that one is the one I sent to you, but that it might still adapt.
Why are we not going to? We were at 1.0.
We're almost. I would say we're almost to 1.0.
Yeah, I would say we're now going to 09B or something. You know.
Yeah, we're still in beta anyways, but that's like how I wrote it as well. Like we're close to 1.0. We're in, or yeah. but we're not like we're still in beta, and I think there's no immediate plan to go out of beta as far as I know. Right?
Yeah, it just in the sense of software naming, I wanted to throw in that after beta there is one and any fixes and improvements, big improvements, bump version numbers, and small, after the dot, of course.
Indeed, yeah, and we're still. I think that we will be at one. Personally, I think we'll be at 1.0 after we have done a bit of a UX overhaul, but that's a different track apart from what we're doing at the Odyssey Hackathon.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is though, we're probably ready to onboard a few more people, I would say.
Yeah, and I hope it'll be on my it's Michael's decision, Michael's thing to lead it, I guess, to plan in then that UX overhaul. But I know last time we talked, he was looking again at that the hardcore negative UX review of that friend of Wojtek. So he's looking into it, I know. Kai, I interrupted you.
No, I just wanted to give props to Dani for nice onboarding work, and I just wanted to give my resume that we see that for some people it can be very useful. Like it really depends on it's a hammer, like we said, and the way Andreas is swinging the hammer or Gregor from DataFund is swinging the hammer. They have both very different profiles, why they even use Giveth, but they're both like perfect organizations who use it, to gather. I mean, now Grace Aid is becoming more known, because they were pretty early in this, and it's on Pi Day, and so I'm really satisfied that Dani, you're doing such a great job, and we were cool enough to admit people finally, and it was a big piece of trust we put out, or in the system, in us, or everybody. Thanks.
Sure.
Completely agree. You onboarded the right people and you sensed exactly what we needed, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw what Gregor said during the ECC, but he's like, if you're trying to be a DAO and you're not using Giveth, I don't trust you, or I'm skeptical. That's what he said.
Some promo.
Yeah, I liked it, but I don't know if I retweeted it because I think I was a bit hesitating. Is that boasting if I retweet it or not? Sometimes I'm hesitating.
Of course not. It's proof of concept.
Yeah, I would retweet it.
Or did you pay him to say?
Oh yeah, and another thing on my mind that's also in the new column. We talked about it last week, and we talked about it yesterday evening. They didn't respond to my question, but I also wanted to first, before I pushed, I wanted to hear Griff about it. So there is the situation now with the DATT podcast, which is apparently wants to move to a for-profit organization. And yeah, so they're also giving a stage to the first example, Christopher David, who is to me 100% a scammer, but a fantastic marketeer. So I'm interested in the skills, but not in the content, because I've seen what he did before, that it was really every time a money scam, every time. So I asked if they could take Giveth off that track, and I think they did, of sponsored by Giveth or powered by Giveth. But the question is just so last week Bowen proposed that we use their Libsyn account to just have podcasts that we push, the one-offs, like the Mozilla Foundation one, or if it's a good example, I don't know how important the slides are, but Griff's talk at CC, that we have these also in audio form and that we can push them out because DATT doesn't want to do one-offs. But we have been sponsoring DATT and we have paid for the Libsyn account, and apparently you can have more than one account or something on there. But Griff, do you have any objections to that, or do you want to go another way? What do you think?
No, I think it's cool. I mean,
yeah.
I think we gotta let them, I think we need to let them control their system, you know. So if we want to just do a straight up giveth one or something, like, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would just be like the possibility for us, if we have good audio content, that we can just like that we just have it somewhere that we can link to it, and it's just another way to digest content. I asked the people, as discussed last week, I asked the people at Odyssey if we could, for example, just like put the ethical deep dive in an audio format and tweet it, and they were like, hell yes. So that's a thing. I don't know if it's gonna be, because it's very long and I don't know if someone will ever listen to it. But if we have content, Bowen volunteered to just put it like on there. Any other thoughts, Bowen? Something I missed, or Kai?
No, I mean, I think to clarify, what it was that I volunteered to do was to like kind of put end caps on it, and like intros and things like that. I mean, uploading it and stuff wouldn't be a problem. We just need to figure out how that would work. And I mean, I guess I could ask Josh when it comes down to it. And I still have to listen to the GirlyCon audio to see if that can be used too.
Mm-hmm. The Mozilla call is definitely also a good one, but like I saw it now catching up in that thing that they asked themselves, like, hey, can we use the Mozilla call? They asked themselves, where before you said that they didn't want to do one-offs. So like, if they're not doing it, that's another one that you should definitely, that you can start with.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by what it is that they want to do or not to do.
Yeah, indeed. Oh yeah, and I sent a message to Matt, by the way, also from Swarm City, because yesterday we had this discussion about Christopher David, who's gonna put a tweet out today on like I think the 7th launch of Arcade City, a worldwide takeover, and because their track is called What the Fork, I think he's definitely going to talk about the fork with Farm City, and then they have the possibility to at least also give some feedback, like let Farm City tell their story. Yeah, so I asked the question in the channel. Bowen, do you want me to ask it again, or are you just going to send a message to Joshua?
I think that what we need to do is outline exactly all of the things that need to get figured out, and then I can hit him up. I mean, him and I have a great relationship.
Yeah, well, if they don't want to do one-offs, which they told you, and I heard as well until now, then that's the thing that we mostly have such content, such as GirlyCon or Griffstock with Omar, or Griffstock at Alibre, or all these things. It's all great content that is just content that we can put on there. That's the outline, I would say. And then for you, it's indeed like having a short introduction that I don't mind writing. But first we have to make sure that they actually give us that access. So if I understand it correctly, you can have 2 accounts on one account or something, right? That you can, how does it work?
I believe the way that works is that when you have a Libsyn account, it can be for a network. It's kind of like a network being a collection of different podcasts that each have their own timeline and episodes, but they all fall under one account, which would just mean that they would need to like either do it for us or allow us to have our own sort of channel inside the network, which should be relatively pain-free, because all of the work of using Libsyn is kind of done by Libsyn automatically, which is like the reason why they're so awesome to do podcasts on. I just lost my window. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Sorry. So that's, I will try to find out from him where that's at, like how that works.
Cool. Okay. Good. So shutting up almost. I see social coding article from Josh. You were gonna finish that one, right?
I started adding titles to it there the other day. So yeah, I was just kind of iterating over the feedback I got from yourself and Dean, and I'm happy with it once that's done. So I think it's pretty much done.
Oh, did Dean give feedback as well?
Or was it Frederick? It was Frederick. Sorry, my bad. It's Frederick.
Okay, no problem. I just want to, because I promised some points, so I wanted to make sure. And then, oh yeah, another one in new is the Gitcoin grant for decentralized data now. So that's just like, we're gonna kick off. Yeah, Griff, that's yours, so I'm gonna shut up.
Which one?
The Gitcoin grant, just like mentioning it.
Oh yeah.
For the decentralized data.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty simple. We're just trying to Igor and a few other people have been really wanting to revive the decentralized data call, the open source block explorer calls. So my Ether wallet has their new block explorer that they want to launch. There's updates to POA networks. Like Bloxy has an update. Like a bunch of people have stuff they want to have on a call. The GraphQL guys are really excited about it. So I said no, and like it's too much work and I'm busy. And then they said, well, can we get someone to help you? And I said, yeah, I mean, I know who could help me. Just like, can we pay them? And then they said, yeah, let's create a Gitcoin grant. So we're doing it on Gitcoin. One day, Giveth will have a way to donate directly to addresses. And then then we could use Giveth for it, right? But until that day, you have to use other people's stuff. It's really disappointing to me. So yeah, so we're gonna set up a Gitcoin grant, and we already basically made it. But they have like some kind of, actually it was really interesting. Something I want to add to the DApp, and I need to make an issue for it. Like they basically have start a new campaign, but instead of, and then the button's there and you click it, but then you just go to a Google form. Well, they use Typeform. Just go to a Typeform and then you fill in, hey, I want to start a campaign. And I think that would be a really nice onboarding thing, right? Like instead of hiding the campaigns and community buttons, if we actually replace them, because this is what Gitcoin does, we actually replace them with a click. Like when you click them, it's like, oh, well, you're not on the whitelist yet, so the button's there and it shows you to a Google form. But if you are on a whitelist, then you can actually create it. You can use that button to create it. And that would basically be feeding people's, it would be filling out one of our forms. I think we have a don't you want to start a Giveth campaign form or something? Is that right, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we could just replace. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. What do you think about that, Danny?
I didn't follow everything you just said, but what I understand is that if people aren't already set up, it'll say, hey, you need to do this first. So I'm all for that.
Yeah. Basically, let me just find the link and you can see what I mean by going there.
Yeah, it's just a sort of, it makes, it's actually, to me, it's very similar to what we're already doing with your form. It's just another way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just they have the button there. So I pasted the link on the chat, but you go to create a grant and then it just brings you to a Google form. And it's kind of like what we would have, except it's like you go to create a grant and what's really cool is they do all these matchings where like the more people that donate, the more they match. Like this is the quadratic voting kind of a thing. And so they have all sorts of cool little systems to encourage people to match and stuff.
I have to go. I want to say something though. Like two small things. Sorry for interrupting. One is just because not everybody was here yesterday. I said it just in the Common Stack talk. I think I went to Progress Bar in Slovakia, and they were very hot on the whole Pi Day thing. And just a shout out to you, Chris, because it was your initiative. I got props on our manifesto. And I mean, they took selfies with me, so they treated me like like a celebrity there. It was very nice people. So if any of you want to make it to Bratislava, it's a great place for crypto hackers, actually. Parallelny Polis is also there as a second thing, which is Institute of Crypto Anarchy. So yeah, that was cool. And the other thing I wanted to highlight, because I don't want it to be forgotten, is what Josh posted today, and it also comes related about this Google thing.
And what is that? Because I haven't had
let you take over, but it would be nice if it lands in the issue thing and in your mind, Chris. It's a cool thing.
And what is it?
Yeah, I'd field that one for Kai since he's turned off his mic and is running away. It's Google's Summer of Documents rather than Summer of Code. So you talk to one of their technical writers and walk them through your DAC and explain what's going on, why, how, when, all that stuff, and they write up the documentation for you. So that's sharing is caring. Let's rope them in, I reckon. We've probably got token bonding curves, TCRs, preference signaling, all kinds of stuff to write up, let alone the wiki stuff. So I'm going to hit them up on April 2nd or 4th, whenever the date is for that, and kind of try and grab extra resources.
But you could actually just use it for the DApp. You can even be in the sense that the DApp is there and needs loads more documentation. So that's something that is built and that needs to be documented, right?
Yep. Yeah, we've got tons of documentation needs. So we're going to talk to them and see if they will help us.
We should maybe even try to get more than one application in there because it's a really good chance, I think, to get some Google help, which seeing their operation can always be good, and or maybe taking some work off our shoulders either way.
I am all about exploiting Leviathan. If Google wants to help us out with stuff, totally cool with me.
And it needs to be submitted. It cannot be submitted now. You can submit as of a specific date. Is that it?
Yeah. I had a rummage through it, and it's not quite ready yet. So they've got all kinds of documentation up, but they haven't opened the doors to us.
Okay. Well, I've put both of your names on this to maybe like that to come up with a proposal on what we can submit as a proposal to them, right?
I haven't seen the application form yet, so I've looked through all their documentation and seen what they're saying, and they haven't really said much other than like some people will apply to us that are technical writers, and we'll match you with them. But we have to apply still, and they haven't told us what to apply with, etc. So it's in the journal.
Cool. Griff, did you want to add something?
No, I just think it's really cool. I'd love to be matched up with the technical writer for the DApp, and I'm sure that Danny might be interested, or Michael, or I'm sure people have documentations they want to write up. I don't know if we have anything for token bonding curves and conviction voting to write up yet. I feel like it might be a little early for that, but we could try. I mean, if it's there.
We have loads of stuff and no options of what to say we're doing yet. So yeah, DApp, wiki, website, I don't know, all kinds of things would be great.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I also immediately think about the DApp. Like the wiki is documentation itself. So documentation of the documentation doesn't seem so needed, but definitely the DApp. So I'm adding it as an issue.
I watched their video earlier, which has all of those notes. And the main thing to note is tutorials, how-to guides, discussions, and references. They're the 4 categories of things, according to Python people, anyway.
Okay, cool. Could you say that one more time? Can I add it?
Tutorials, how-to guides, discussion, and reference. I've got notes on all those separate things, and I have about 5 minutes left on the video before stuff.
Okay.
So I'd take a photo of my notebook and post it.
You can add it. You can always add it in the comments of the issue. Then we have it in a fixed place. I assigned it to you and Michael and Danny. Okay. Who else has things comms related they would like to discuss?
I'm just wondering, do we have a map of any sort of all our kind of different things? Because I'm interested in the growth stack, but we don't necessarily need to implement it. It's just nice to be able to visualize even what stack we are doing. So I'd like to kind of know the platforms we're across, if there's a list and all that kind of stuff.
What do you mean with the growth stack?
So the growth stack tracks all the various different kind of activities you can get up to as a marketer, and it's way more than just marketing. It's holistic kind of approach used by people at SoundCloud, etc. But they break it down. They break down the whole stack, and then you kind of analyze what you're doing at a given time and continuously iterate on it. So, for instance, the Telegram or the Riot group would grow, or you note how much activity is in Riot, and then you would kind of monitor that week to week to see whether it's up or down. But then you might iterate on that by the forum and adding all the different little bits together and then tying them up and all that kind of integration or integrated planning. So I'd like to kind of have a map to start trying to figure out what kind of iterative loops there are.
Well, yeah, we talked a little bit about that one before, like what it's like a little bit what in the that is often called like also in the corporate marketing, like the growth hacking. It's something I did for a little bit, and it's a lot of like repetitive work and like tweaking all the different channels and making sure it's better. If you want to start this, as I told you, you're very welcome. Right now, I don't have bandwidth to do it, but I would love to support in any way. As if it becomes something practical, and if it's something that you want to commit to actually doing those iterations, yes, you're free to.
I definitely like to track things. I kind of see that as like a health monitor, so it would be good to do so, and I'd like to gather those bits together if we don't have a list.
Well, we have Kai was working on a way of integrating a way of monitoring into the DApp that is not Google Analytics, and he was checking that one with Wojtek. And for example, I'm pretty sure that right now we have no tracking whatsoever in the website on purpose. And then there is, Riot has no, that's something that you should check with the Riot guy. So it's a lot, you just have to research and dive into it to see like is there a way to check how our channels are growing and what the activity is per channel, or if it's something that needs to be built. We have it for Slack, so I can give you access. That is the only one. That's the only corporate tool that we use. The only one that we still have is Slack, and Slack has built-in metrics. That's the only one. And our DApp has corporate tools built in because Satya put them in there. But personally, I wouldn't mind if they go out.
What kind of corporate tools are in the DApp?
Well, Google Analytics.
Google Analytics, GA. Okay. There's a really good one called Segment that's open source. Unfortunately, though, it's a pay-for kind of thing. When researching all the trackings and data privacy for mobile apps. I found that Segment was probably the best open source. And then there's a thing called Snowplow that allows you to stack all the different things together and take all the data points. But yeah, Google are evil.
And there's also the initiative of the graph that also gives you like a way of like visualizing all the transactions that happen in the DApp. And so we have a few connections with those people as well. So I met one of them. I think Griff knows him as well, and Kai knows him too.
Nice.
And Wojtek is working on analytics for the DApp, well, for the Blockchain for Humanity version. So it could be, well, I would say first check with Kai on what he already checked with Wojtek. But it would be cool in any case to have analytics for the DApp. But if it comes to like growth hacking for Giveth in general, yeah, I would say start building the map, create an issue. You're very welcome to. I hate it personally, so you're very welcome to do it.
That's all right. I like integrated things.
Cool. So you'll create that issue and follow up on that one?
I will put it in my bullet journal and follow up on it. I'm not so great with the GitHub stuff because they're kind of multiple repos, and then I lose track of everything holistically, I find. But I can put it in there and forget about it and keep up to date with my journal. Yeah.
Do that. And then remind you once in a while that we see if it's moving or if we close that initiative down, if it's not going anywhere.
Cool.
Okay, other things people have on their minds? And thanks for doing that, Josh. That's great.
I can give you an update on 142, the reward DAO changes that we're doing right now, if you'd like. Probably would be worth writing another article since it's changing so much this month, but I've got some issues on the PointsBot repo, and Frederick's been handling them and coming up with some great suggestions. And basically the way we have it now is folks can create their own milestone. I've got some instructions. I made some new images and might need a few pointers from somebody on how to get those up so I can get them into the wiki now. But I rewrote the campaign text a little bit to clarify how the process works now, as I understand it. And working with Frederick, he has come up with some really great suggestions. He's talking to Wojtek right now. And basically, he's got a link that at the end of the month will go out to all the point recipients that says what their cumulative point total is, and a link that when they click it, it will automatically open a new milestone form under the Reward DAO campaign with the settings set properly and information auto-filled in it. So the instructions for folks to do that will be a lot easier. And there's already 3 or 4 people, including at least Josh and Lorelei on this call, who have created their own milestones already. And it's super, super simple now. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about those updates.
That's great. So it's like, so if does something happen automatically, then the bot sends stuff when I dish points.
Yeah, so there's one thing that's already implemented right now. As soon as you dish points to somebody, the bot sends them a direct message and lets them know, hey, you were dished some points, go check it out here. And if you have any questions, and refers them to both the contributors guide and the Reward DAO campaign for instructions and what the process looks like. And then
that's really great.
Yeah, and then at the end of the month, it'll send out, the bot will send out another message with the link for people to click on and open up and create their own milestone with information auto-populated.
And
I think it's still important to wait till the end of the month, and then because there are a lot of contributors who contribute and get points 2 to 5 times a month sometimes from different circles. So I really don't want to have 2 to 5 milestones per person for the month. I'd like to encourage people through this process to wait till the end of the month to do that milestone and get more points.
And does the bot say that? Something like, hey, wait until the end of the month so that you can make 1 milestone or something like that?
Not yet. I'm sending some updates to Frederick right now with a little bit of modification to the first message and then the exact text that needs to go into the monthly message.
Great. Yeah, that's perfect. But indeed, then like, thanks for doing that, because it makes it easier. We're just like dishing points to the guy who asked Griff questions in general. But then, like, if you don't know it, it's cool. Then I can just like add something even when I dish points, saying like, hey, you got, if you want to know more, like check the direct message you just got or something.
Right.
So that people trust the direct message, because often people ask questions when they just join us and then they don't know what that bot is.
Yeah,
so
the main thing is it says go talk to us in the contributors room.
Okay.
Communication.
Because people get dished from points in multiple rooms. You know, all 4 of the circle rooms can dish points, right? So the important thing is I really want to encourage anybody who's been dished points to join this room. Tracking down people through Riot in personal messages from myself has proved really difficult. And even when I find them, they say they're going to do it, and then it's the end of the month and they still haven't done that. So I'm having to go back a few more times because I really want people to come back and play with us more.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I will also always send them to contributors.
On the bot upgrade, I noticed a communications piece of kind of like years old, I reckon, because I was searching for something, I can't remember what, but it brought me to a post by the guys at Matrix talking about our bot. So maybe it's time to hit them back up and refresh that old chestnut.
Yeah, it's actually not that old, I thought. But
well, it was a search that was there before I was.
Yeah, and time moves differently in blockchains. You've been here for ages, Josh.
Jesus Christ, years.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, once we reach the end of the month and you see it works and it's been tweaked and it all works as you want it, Danny, then maybe indeed we can make another Medium post like the one that Cleo wrote. Yeah. And then we can contact the Riot people again, maybe if they're interested to send out an update as well.
Right. And then there's a couple places where we refer to the story that Cleo wrote, and we'll want to replace those links with a more updated and relevant link.
Yeah, new gifts and so on, but yeah, we can do that. Perfect.
How easy is the bot to install for other companies or collections of people, organizations?
If they use Riot, it's super simple. They just have to like take the repo, clone it, and follow the instructions that are documented by Deem and Frederick. As far as
I asked because I think it probably should land in the DAC toolbox or something similar in the wiki, because I don't recall seeing we have a free bot that rocks kind of going on anywhere. So I'll make a note to add that.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool if you add it to the on the wiki to the toolbox of things that people can use, because we have a wiki post. Well, we have a contributors guide, and we have the one that we wrote specifically for Riot, but it would be good to then have linked to that one and to the repo and so on. A little bit of thing that you have in that Riot article makes sense. Cool. Good point.
Yeah. Griff, does it sound like I've fully grokked what you were explaining to me last week? Because I know it took me a minute to get it through my head.
I mean, you're basically just making everyone make their own milestones, right?
Yes, and giving them a lot of the information that they need to do it. And they don't need to know how many points or what it's worth anymore. I just need to know that when I delegate the funds.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't need to know anything. They can just make a video about whatever they want.
Right.
And know that they'll get some donations.
And then the main.
And if they don't want to make a video, that's okay. But we would prefer it. You know.
Yeah, and so the main thing that I was trying to make sure of is that we have appropriate information for accountability somewhere in there. So since we're not taking that text from the spreadsheet and putting it into the milestone text, I'm just doing that when I accept or approve or delegate, because I can put comments in and say why. So I just plop that in there.
Sure, maybe just a link to the spreadsheet though.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like, it doesn't have to be like a full on, you know, you had this many points, so you end up with this much money. You know, it's nice if it's a little more mysterious.
Okay, cool.
Just something else that popped into my mind because I was adding a little note on the metrics thing that you were mentioning, Josh. If you want to really map it out entirely, I see 3 sides to it, and that's and it's if you really want to start mapping shit, I see there's like the
matrix. Sorry.
Sorry.
This is matrix or growth stack.
Okay. Well, if you want to create that matrix, I think like there's the part of like the actual users of the DApp. There's our entire audience, and there's the finance part as well, which Lansky is working on. So just letting you know.
On the finance side of stuff, I CC'd you into the mail to the SVK guys, trying to bait those guys as well. They have a 50 million EOS pot, but send them an email occasionally and show them talks with Outliers CTO.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks. Yeah.
So DApp funding and users, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So time is up. Does anyone have one last pressing issue or anything they want to talk about? 3, 2, 1. Okay, then we'll check out
Delft.
Sorry?
Sponnet is currently talking to the guys in Delft.
That's great because we needed a representative for this week's session, so that's great. Perfect. Okay, well, let's do a quick checkout then we can go to the reward down meeting happening after this one. So thank you for the great meeting. As always, I've been listening, closing some issues that were outdated. If you see things that your name on it is on and they're like covered in the meantime by something else, don't hesitate to close them. Just like put like a final comment, but like the outcome is. And thank you so much for your time, guys, and for you guys. And I give it to Bowie.
Yeah, thank you very much for a nice meeting again. And I will pass it over to Josh.
Same. Thank you for a nice meeting. It's always good to talk to people. And I'll pass it back to Danny, I think, this time.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a lot of communication stuff going on, and we have all these new changes to communicate. So I might have another issue to post that I just thought of, but I'm going to let this roll because it's related to our next meeting. So I'll pass it to Lorelei so we can get moving.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Thank you guys. And Jeff, did you check out?
Not yet. Yeah, thanks guys. Great meeting. Excited about all the articles we're pushing and all the comms we're doing. There's a lot of comms. So nice work. Is that everyone?
I think so.
Yeah, that's everyone. So see you guys in the next meeting.
Can we just stay here?
For me, that's fine. Yeah, we're all here. The people who need to be here. Okay.
Just
stopping the live stream. Bye to our viewers.